Last time we have talked to everybody, we have met everyone, we have talked through the story. I forgot to search for other people, sadly. Probably going to do it here. But yeah, let's see the epilogue when the curtain is closed. There's another one here. Gonna do that, but I'm pretty sure both of these don't have voice act, so this is gonna be fun. At least one please have a voice act. I mean, we already talked to Dory one and doesn't seem like there is, but who knows. Anyway,
Where were you while the rest of us were eating together?
I don't recall being obligated to report my whereabouts to you.
we know.
Did you go find another hidey hole to read in? You need to change your ways, you know. You can't survive on books alone.
Surviving on meals paid for by you would be harder still.
I see.
You? Whatever. It doesn't take a genius to guess what you've been up to. You were investigating Sachin, weren't you? It was obvious from your notes. However, I don't believe his research alone would have been enough to pique your interest. His way of doing things is disturbing, while you... Well, to be fair, your philosophy disgusts me too, but you and Sachin are nothing alike. I don't imagine your views intersect at all. Egoism and nihilism are not the same thing.
My personal interests aside, Sachin's legacy is not entirely meaningless. He conducted experiments on a great scale and left his findings behind. Also, thanks for the compliment, but I'm actually just passing through. I didn't come here for the conversation. Well, not this one at least.
Compliment, okay.
What do you mean? What topic of conversation could be more sacred among scholars than the exploration of differing philosophies?
Well, based on what I've learned, Sachin and his disturbing way of doing things, as you put it, is very likely to have met your father 20 years ago.
Oh. Wait. I feel like putting this on the day 3 video, but it's going to be after. I'm going to put like the epilogue probably.
What did you say? Wait, so... No. Surely that doesn't mean... Huh. So that's why he thought I looked familiar. My father must have gone into the desert due to his influence.
I see.
I'm afraid so.
Good thing I shattered that diadem. From now on, nothing like that will ever have to happen again.
And I'm also here to, take some money because you break them. Now, I'm pretty sure that didn't happen.
The boundaries of knowledge are ever expanding. Someone else will inevitably pick up the same line of research one day, and Vahumana regards it as a reasonable research direction.
Oh, not this again. Even if you're right and people are bound to fall into the same intellectual traps, things won't necessarily go the same way again next time.
I love how we are not here. We are pretty much hearing all of those stuff. And then they proceed to distract us.
You have to admit that the actions of one individual don't always predict the behavior of the group, and vice versa. Take Sachin, for instance. He's quite an anomaly.
And so is the one who stopped him. You. Conflicts of this nature are indeed exceptional, but it will occur again in the future. You said it yourself. The actions of one individual cannot predict the behavior of a whole group. You know that not everyone would have chosen as you did.
Even so, I stand by my views. You can forget about trying to convince me.
That's fine. We've been arguing over this for years, and I don't hold any hope of you understanding. The issue we're debating has long since moved on from who's right and who's wrong.
Thanks for letting me know all this.
What?
The father part.
I said, thanks for letting me know. Hey, stop acting like you didn't hear me. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
They say that earnest thanks should be given thrice, so one more time, please.
That's nice. Alright, with that, and the story is purely done. Interesting. Next one is the incident from 20 years ago. What is this all about? I have to read this. But let's see. Yeah, we're going to check that out after I check out if there are new character around. So yeah, we'll see. Okay, now that we're done with that one, I'm guessing this one is reading one, which is gonna be painful. But hey, we might as well find something, right? Please be short. Who are you guys? Um, that incident from 20 years ago. I guess I shouldn't have told anyone. Last time I had too much to drink and blabbered a little too much. Now people are seeking me. Since you're curious, I guess that I'll tell you. I was just 6 years old, 20 years ago. So you're 26 right now. I can't remember clearly what happened at the time, but recently I read the diary I kept when I was a child and vaguely recalled the situation back then. The International Championship was also held that year. There were the 3 rounds, the last of which was outside the city. I begged my mom to take me out of town to see it, and when she refused, I snuck out. Okay. I ended up getting lost outside the city, and in the middle of nowhere, there was no one around. I grew more and more frightened and began to cry. That is when I saw some strange creature. I can't remember what they looked like, I only remember now. As a child, I stopped crying at the sight of them. I'm guessing it's Arnara? They must be. Yep. They took me to the competition. Unfortunately, by the time we got there, it was too late. It was already over. Just when I was disheartened, I suddenly saw one of those strange creatures slowly a crown along, dragging a crown along. It was a beautiful crown shining in the moonlight, and I couldn't help but follow it. I saw the little fellow hide the crown in a hollow tree before disappearing. I want to touch that crown, but at that moment I could hear distant cries of my mother. It turns out she figured out I was lost and got her neighbor to go looking for me. Oh, the Arnar ran away or disappeared because of this. I never get to touch it. It wasn't until I was older, when I saw the diadem of knowledge, that I realized it was the same thing. Oh wait, does that mean they found it because of that? Remember where the diadem ended up? It probably the Avidia forest, but I've been back a few times. Haven't found anything. No one will believe me even if I told them. Well, cursed diary. Alas, even I can remember it clearly. Perhaps it was a dream I had when I was a child. Should we go look? Yes. I see. Thank you for some interesting knowledge.
This may turn a little.
What exactly happened back then? Again, you never can believe your memory from when you are a little kid. Because obviously, what do you think is real? What do you think is high? For example, like you think that thing is high, that thing is big. When you grown, you'll find out it's actually not that big. Also, inside a hollow tree. Is that a tree then? Okay, let's check it out. Sometimes when I what? I want to stay silent. I want to say that. I just say silent or say silent. It's a magical word. Yeah, whenever I stay silent, sometimes it's because of something. There's a hole in a tree. It seems completely empty, and there's nothing in it. Wait, note. The Gundara taught Arkashapa how to read. Arkashapa must protect the Gundara. What is this supposed to mean? An NPC told a Naranara how to read, and the Arnar is keeping himself? Is that it? Faint traces of writing can be seen on the withered note. The Gundara taught Arkashapa how to read. Arkashapa must protect him. Ooh. Sachin's article. Oh, we need to ask Dory? I'm so confused on what we're finding right now. Is that important for something? I don't know.
Take it
Seems
easy.
supposed to be important.
Everyone hold hands.
Hey, let's see. Well, if it's isn't Rick and Paimon yet again. I have the latest update on the Academy Extravagance. Would you like to hear it? How much is it? It's free! If you are so generous. Do you guys remember Sachin? Yes. The guy who sponsored the Academy Extravagance. Paimon heard that the prize money and diadem knowledge came from him. Bingo! In fact, not long ago when I was doing business in the desert, I met an old businessman. And guess what I got from him? A dealer ledger. With it, I can avoid dangerous areas in the desert and go to more places. Of course, the most important thing is that ledger mentions Sachin. Sachin. It turned out that Sachin had been to the desert to investigate the people's local condition and custom. He also had, I thought, I thought he also had crocodile. He also had cordial exchange with a traveling merchant in the desert. Much of the text is lost, but this is a first-hand account of the big sponsor behind the Academia extravagance. Could you like a look? Sandstorms are raging, the caravan has stopped. We ran to a scholar calling himself Sachin. He said he could sponsor the caravan, provided that we. This is trial of human nature. Trail. Plunder. There was nothing we could do, no one could withstand. If I could do it all over again, I'd never have taken that money. Then they would have had to die, and I won't be living like this, a fate worse than death. People are most terrifying animals in this world. People are the most terrifying animals. What did Sachin make them do? This is all hard to understand. Dory, what does that mean? I'm afraid that if you need it, it will cost you extra million more. Extra million. Since you're not paying, that'll be all for Dory's special news. But let me give you a hint. There should be someone here who's been to a lot of academia extravagance. Perhaps you could talk to them. Perhaps it was the people that have suffered with them.
Commit it to memory.
We'll hope you thought. Here's some food for thought. Why did Sachin sponsor the academia extravaganza? Oh, guessing this is the people that we talk or not talk to. That Sachin found. Oh no, they found Sachin. Plunge. Also, what does he get? Betrayal and punch. They lose every people his life and only one remain. Alas, seeing these young children, I cannot help but reminiscent about the past. The Introduction Championship has always been a stage for young talent. Unfortunately, not every genius will be successful eventually. Why did you say that? Geniuses are mostly stubborn and cold, and find it hard to understand the pain of others. Empathic people, on the other hand, often fall into self doubt and depression. People who are not firm can only stand still, while people who are determined but walk down the wrong path refuse to look back. There's a lot to think about here. Huh? What? Ah, to be young. Is pain in the dream? What? That one? I don't understand. That one, Grandpa, I don't understand. For this year Introduction Championship, my favorite has to be Sino. Why? Aside from his skill as a general Mahamatra, looking back at the tournament history, the Spantama Darshan has the highest percent of champion. Many people say that the Spantama Darshan produced many talented people such as Cyrus, Rushka, Lisa, and Sino. That is interesting. Lisa and Sino. The brighter the talent, the sooner the game will lose its suspense. The most exciting competition was still 20 years ago. At the time, my friend also participated in the game, and I went there to cheer him. The last round was played in Avidia Forest. In the end, no one dared to approach them. No one knew what was going on in the depth of the forest. Then I heard the Crimea shut down the competition later. The Darshan Championship removed many of the events in which people fought to the death, discouraging people from being desperate enough to do so. What is your friend like? He is honest and kind, but he is also vulnerable and sensitive. Does that mean that's a chin? Most of all, he cares about us. When we drink together, our time is filled with laughter and cheer. It's just too bad that it's all in the past now. With among the friendship we drank with, some dead. Some disappeared, some now live in seclusion. They say fate is fickle, and perhaps it's true. Look like something did happen 20 years ago. Now that we have time, why don't we ask him? Who? Right. I will erase all traces of when its existence. I have long forgotten much of merry times during my days as a student. Perhaps I'm just reluctant to admit I'm getting old. You, uncle, are very old. I don't know why I call you uncle. You are not my uncle. Anyway, anyhow, anywho, we cast. Okay, let's talk to. I choose the wrong one. Okay, we cast. An incident from 20 years ago. Why the sudden question? We have heard that the diadem seems to have been lost 20 years ago, and some contestant personality has changed. You seem to know a lot. Because is there something you are not telling us? Not exactly. I was 5 years old when it happened, so you're 25. But there are things I've never told anyone. I'm actually part of the Academia Extravagance planning committee because of the influence of a senior called Holy. The senior I met on a trip. He was a bit timid and will always flee and cower somewhere at the first sign of an emergency. One day, 4 years ago, I said to him, I want to go back to the academia. The Academia Extravagance is about to begin. Then, upon mentioning the Academia Extravagance, he got startled and said something about it has nothing to do with me. When I said goodbye to him, he insists on getting drink with me. After several drinks, he started talking all sort of nonsense. I also had too many and in my drunken stupor. I didn't really hear him that well. I also remember that he said that he lost diadem of knowledge for a while. He was in charge of the distribution and recovery of the diadem of knowledge. And that he nearly had a heart attack upon realizing that the diadem was missing. Fortunately, he finally found it in a tree hole. Oh, that's when the kid was found. He said that the diadem of knowledge is a very valuable treasure, which is recorded in many ancient books. Legend has it that it was built by a famous craftsman in ancient times and carries a secret that no one knows. Sachin had entrusted the academia to safeguard the diadem. After all, if my senior was responsible for the diadem, his disappearance, he could not afford to pay for it with his manager well. Even if the loss was temporary, no one should know of it, lest the academia find him guilty of gross negligence. Negligence? It's he covered it up, so the diadem is not supposed to be that one. Yes, is that he also said that many people came in inquiry about it, including children, but said that the diadem had never been lost. He was so scared that when things blew over, he quit his job and left the academia. He drank too much that night, and when I woke up the next day, he was gone. The more I thought about it, the more I had bad feeling that issues would crop up in the academia extravagance, entrusted if someone like him. I didn't have a job at that time, so I joined the academia extravagance planning committee. I tried to investigate things on the side too, but I couldn't find anything. And the diadem was found, and the man whose personality was said to have changed was Dutch. And there was nothing to be found. Still, 20 years ago is still a long time, long enough that the people involved from the beginning no longer remember nor care. That's all I know. If you're curious, keep investigating, then maybe one day you'll discover the truth. Now we got Fountain. Easy to say, we don't have much to go on. Do you have any more information? I haven't heard from him. I also went to the desert to look for him, but that is a fast desert. To make up for it, I do have some information on Sachin. When I was traveling, I did so with an Aramite commander. While we were chatting, he said he came into possession of an article written by an academia researcher. He seemed to think it was nothing or something precious and refused to show it to anyone, only to let me peek at it at my request. I only caught a glimpse of it, but I saw that it was signed by Sachin. Didn't know who Sachin was, nor did I care. After joining the Academia Extravagance Planning Committee, I found out that he was an important member. If you're interested, Value of Dowry. Okay. Alright, I thought that's going to be the end. Freak, we got more to
Just stay
read.
pretty little.
Okay. Man, the start of this is 4 minutes about. Well, it's not bad. It's 4 minutes about. What is it again? Who is it? Kaveh and also I'll hate him. That one voice act, but man, this one is painful. Why do we need to know? Why do I get this? What do you want? This guy look fierce. I can beat him up. Otherwise, say your piece or leave. I have no time for you. We heard about Sachin stuff, so we are here. Are you kidding? Now, why would you ask that? It seems like you guys really don't know. Some times ago, I had the articles of praise. Turns out it's nothing more than a personal travel journal, and it's of little value. He hired my father to keep him safe. That Sachin fellow will often walk as right and mumble. One time, his papers were blown away by the wind. He said it was no big deal. My father, however, thought that things written by intellectual must be fallible, so I looked around for them at night with a torch. None amongst my family can read. My father cherished this article and then passed on to me. I had no idea what is this. But do you still have it? Yes. You can look at it as much as you want since it's not worth anything. For the love of letters or logical personality, just have a a resume button or something like that, so I just voice act all of this. Once the gods reside supreme, all life flocked to them like sheep, seeking shepherd, and those who suffered did so in silence. Now divine power was dwindled while human wisdom has blossomed. However, those who suffer face suffering still. There is saying in Leah that goes, life is like lodging at an inn. And in Inazuma, oh, Leah is like that, and then Inazuma, all things are but void. Wait, who say that? That sounds familiar. Both of them. It hurt every time I read this word. I try to seek the reason for this. The wheel of time turns, and the only constant throughout Sumeru's history is human nature. Since arriving in the desert, I have conducted a total of 64 experiments over the course of 7 years. Men are like prisoner or captured animal, feeding on each other's happiness until one is doomed to eternal torment. Therefore, where there is gain, there must be pain. I mean loss. Where there is happiness, there's agony, agony, something like that. Everyone is a victim, but everyone is also a perpetrator. Greed and numbness reside in the heart of humanity. Driven by greed, humans chose to commit evil, and numbness is why they turn a blind eye to the evil of others. But if this is what the world is, what is then the meaning of the world? The future is to the present, as the present is to the past. Peace was never an option. Conflict is the eternal truth. Everything, from my knowledge, my wisdom, to my life, is but nothingness. So this is the article that Sachin wrote. To be honest, Paimon cannot make sense of any of it. But judging from the crummy handwriting, Paimon cannot say exactly why, but Paimon has the feeling he was going through a tough time. Well, whatever. Thank you for the information. You're welcome. It's not worth any money, but I'm going to keep it anyway. After all, my father entrusts to me. Come see me again if you want to look at it again. So I'm guessing
Hey!
if I talk to you, you're going to make me read it? Want to read it again? Yep, I see. I mean, I recorded and I also read it. Voice of it, kinda trash, but you know. Okay, my voice act's not that good. Nor do I want it to be good. I mean, my reading's not good. Either way,
The weather is
it will cost
lovely
you
and
more for me
warm.
to give you information. It's time yet again for an information cell from Lord Sangabe. Would you two like to purchase the latest report? Let me see, this information isn't that important, so it will go for only 500,000 mora. It's half the unusual price. I mean, usual price. What a bargain. Free? Well, you want to bring it down to 0 mora? Just as I expected. But I'm the great Lord Sangabe. Well, since you're so interested, I'll tell you for free, but you must keep it to yourselves. 20 years ago, there was a contestant whose personality suddenly changed after taking part in the competition. Looked like someone saw him in our village. I wonder where he ended up. That's all information you're getting for free. If you want to hear more, you gotta pay 2 million. Patronage. What a ripoff. We can just go to our village ourselves and ask around. Dory Little didn't get any money. You realize it too, haven't you? Realize what? You are stingy? I mean, Dory is nice. Dory have been giving us information to lead us on. So, not that bad. But either way, making everything to money.
I see everything.
As long as I'm
I
your friend,
really want to meet an Aranara.
that will be nice. Wait, no. I mean, Arnara is in the end a sad story, but 20 years ago, a young man did appear here. Back then, life was much harder than it is now. Oh, I'm guessing that is a chin that see how bad person is suffering. Clearly from the academia with a bright future, was nevertheless willing to come here and help us. He taught us how to deal with Weena and Monster. He bought us a lot of medicine with money from his own pocket and took care of the ill all by himself. Yeah, too bad the good young one. He was always frowning and no one knew what he was worried about. Everyone was wondering if he was going to leave us. This place did not have that mean to properly host him. Still, many said he was a bit crazy to begin with. For example, he will sometimes tell children a story about how, as a child, had a strange creature to ride. Oh! Oh, it's the one that we found on the tree hollow. Later, he would often leave the village and explore the desert. Once I asked him that he was looking for, and he said he wanted to talk to someone from a Nagar something group. Nagar what? I heard that he in a quicksand. Oh, yeah, that's wait. Who died on the quick? Oh, yeah. The start of this, we heard about. Is it Kaveh's father that died on a quicksand? But yeah, that's the one. It said that he encountered a caravan trapped in quicksand. Oh, all of the men died. So all of those connected. That is interesting. Luckily, I do this in the end. At that time, there was a still half-finished letter addressed to his child at home. After he died, my son took the letter with him, thinking about delivering it someday. Unfinished letter is not here. To live a better life, my son became mercenary, and he was scalped a few years ago, and his belongings were taken. Many years have passed in the blink of an eye. I wonder how his child turned out, and if they hold a grudge against him. Not many people know these things anymore. I'm getting old. Perhaps I'll forget the things soon too. At least you tell us. That is the end then? Pretty sure that is the end. AKA it loop us.
Everyone hold hands.
Yeah, in the end, we found about stuff. Must have had a lot he wanted to say to his child. It's pity. I wonder what happened to his child.
It's time to make
That is so interesting. Alright, now with that done, that is everything. As always, subscribe, hit the like button. That is after the championship. Luckily, I do everything in the end or those side quests. It connected. Introduction Championship. You're supposed to know the end afterward, but you will probably forget. Yeah, as always, subscribe, hit the like button. We'll see you on the next video. Goodbye!